Hello everyone, thank you very much for joining me. Just a quick heads up, my little boy is still awake, so if you hear a dinosaur in the background, just keep in mind that that's him. I'm not in any real danger. So, quick reminder before we get into the message, a like on this video on the way out goes a long way in supporting my work here, so thank you very much for you guys who continue to do that. So, this video is all about the third eye, and I know me personally, when I first awakened, the idea of a third eye opening was the driving force that kept me motivated going forward. So, in the ascension process, the third eye has a very important role. And just so you know, the guides are very focused on third eye activation. That is their end of this ball game, and it's something that they are very dedicated to. So they are overseeing the activation of your third eye, and that third eye is activating in increments. It is activating all at once in some cases. The path of third eye activation is completely and totally unique to you and your personal journey. So third eye activation for me is going to look different from you, but we can pull inspiration from each other and see what works for one another and give it a try, and you never know what's going to come from that. So it's about creating positive intent and building momentum going forward as we carve our unique path individually. So there's different levels of third eye activation. There's a lot of people who don't really know that there is more levels to their third eye activation. So you should always keep pushing yourself. You should always keep yourself motivated in some way, and you should always be trying different things because this universe, this reality is very supportive of change, and any time on our end that we can initiate change and try something new, we're just supported that much more by the universe. So first thing I want to let you know is how my third eye works exactly. What do I use it for every day? And how is that benefiting me now? And how is it different now than it was, 5, 10 years ago, even a year ago? So for me, using my third eye looks different. Using my third eye within the space of the Akashic Records is much different than when I'm using my third eye casually during the day. So casually during the day, I tend to receive spiritual downloads or files through the third eye. The third eye is the portal for our guides and our higher selves to do that. So when I'm walking around doing my thing, I'm not visually using my third eye very often. I can, and that's another level I'm still working on getting to. But typically my third eye is used for my time in the Akashic Records when I'm purposely opening the Akashic Records. Experiencing the Akashic Records, it's important to cover all bases. So visually, we're seeing the Akashic Records. Emotionally, we're experiencing the Akashic Records. All of those energy systems have to tie together to make that experience what it is. So I'm using the third eye visually in the Akashic Records, or if I'm doing a meditation, I am very visual with my third eye. Otherwise, I'm just simply using the third eye as a receiver or a broadcaster. And you should know, when I do receive a download of information or, a spiritual download, whatever you want to call it, usually the unpacking of that information is followed by visual revelation. So occasionally, the third eye will pop on when it's needed, and I let the guides handle that aspect of it. Like we said, they are very on top of what's going on with the third eye on their end. So much so to the point where they guided you to this video today to bring something to your attention that may be the trick to getting that last domino to fall. So a few things you should know about the third eye is that it requires power to work. It needs to be charged. It's got to be charged with pure intent. So it needs the creator in the vessel consciously aware of those systems and how they work, and have the knowledge to know how to recharge the batteries. So you can't use your cell phone if it's not charged. So the energy systems that we're working with, yes, that is quantum energy, but they still need to be charged with your pure intent in order for them to function properly. The next thing you should know about your third eye is that the third eye is always constantly under attack. From the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep and everything in between, your third eye is a target frequency-wise, vibration-wise. There are things environmentally that are targeting your third eye specifically. Your TV emits a frequency designed to make your third eye tired. Your computer screen and the light that it's emitting makes your third eye tired. Your cell phone and your Wi-Fi makes your third eye tired. When you are sleeping, there are frequencies being emitted through the air that are meant to shut the third eye down. So in order to get any response from the third eye, in order to progress in your third eye, you need to find a way to protect your third eye. You need to give the third eye a safe space to work in. And the best way to do that is with selenite. So selenite emits its own energy, meaning that it creates a pocket of energy around you, and it is a high enough frequency shield that these lower dimensional vibrations cannot penetrate it. So you should be walking around carrying a piece of this in your pocket. You should sleep with selenite under your pillow or under your mattress. And you should always communicate with your guides regularly and let them know what your experience is. Do you need more protection? Do you feel drained? Do you feel like your energetic resources aren't being used properly? Communicate with your guides regularly. Let them know what your experience is from your perspective, and they will follow through with the information that you're bringing to their attention. Because they don't always see from our angle, and any piece of information that they can collect from us is very valuable for them. And it's something that they're really grateful for. And something that you should know is that it's likely, probably in most of your situations, that your third eye is already open. That's how it was in my situation. The third eye was open, it's functioning, it's online, the program is running, but I just can't seem to figure it out. I can't use it, what it's meant to do, for what it's meant to be used for. My problem, along with a lot of your problem, is that you are using the third eye through a lens of separation. So there are filters, there are barriers, there are layers of density standing between you and the perception of what the third eye is and how it can be used to your benefit. And a lot of you are going to leave this video refreshed in your pursuit of third eye activation, and you're going to actually start to achieve results fast because overcoming the perception that the third eye is damaged or not working properly or not on is the biggest obstacle that a lot of us are facing. So why, in my situation, did the Akashic Records help me open the third eye? How did I use that sacred space to open the third eye, clear the filters away, change the lens, and gain access to a toolkit or a resource that had been outside of my awareness in the previous 10, 11 years? So the Akashic Records for me was a missing piece. I had actually learned about the concept of quantum leaping 10 years ago. So that was something I practiced and never got results from. So a lot of you have the same experience with a lot of these things that you tried. It's one thing for the guides to bring something to your attention with the goal of having something come from that later down the line. But we get excited in the moment and we try things that don't work and then we give up on them. That happens to old souls quite often. It is something that we are always going to have to work through, And it's okay to go back and revisit things from a new perspective. And a lot of you right now in 2021 have that new perspective and have a lot of things on the back burner that you tried before in an old energy that you're meant to get re-engaged in now. So what is quantum jumping? That is something that you're probably familiar with. It is in a quantum state. All realities exist, all possibilities exist, all versions of me exist, and that is a resource through the Akashic Records that we can tap into and pull back with us experience-wise and energetic-wise. So for me, quantum jumping didn't work back then because I still needed the Akashic Records as a means to do that. And it just so happened that I got into the records, started to get feedback of things that I could do differently, things that I could do to support my third eye in functioning better. At the same time, Kryon started his Circle of 12 meetings, and, combining those two factors allowed me to go from, my third eye is blocked, I'm barely receiving any feedback from the guides at all, to, I can go into the Akashic Records and open up and pick and choose whatever I want to experience at that time. So I'm realizing I got sidetracked now. So another thing that I can do with my third eye in the state that it's in right now is I can energetically leave my body. I can rise up through the cloud layers. I can rise up through the atmosphere. I can simply zoom out from the planet, go anywhere in the system I want, go anywhere in the galaxy I want, go anywhere in the universe I want. So one night, I actually gained control of time in that space, and I rewound the universe all the way to the beginning, and then I just push play, let the matter start condensing itself. I watched the galaxies form, and you just sit there in that space and let things play out. And you know what's happening in a quantum state, so everything that you're experiencing is far more real than this illusion that we think is real right now. So how did the ability to access the Akashic Records and the idea of quantum jumping come together to create the guy with a third eye open that you're seeing right in front of you right now? So I go into the records and am prompted by the guides to start playing around with what I learned from Kryon, just in a different way. And with my consciousness, I started jumping into alternate versions of myself. So a version of myself who is using the third eye, the way that it's meant to be used, can close the third eye, step out with their energy body, and, astral travel, astral project, biolocate, fully functioning third eye, and the experience behind it to know how to use it. So something that we are all lacking is experience, and we can access experience through the Akashic Records. That's no problem. It is experience that already belongs to us that we are remembering and re-implementing into our field, into the now moment, to serve us here in what we're trying to accomplish. So I would jump into this alternate version of myself, and I would look through his eyes. I would do what he would do. I would be inspired to pursue certain things energetically that were outside of my awareness now. So walking around, talking, eating, sleeping, traveling, whatever, with this alternate version of myself, emotionally, I am so engaged into the Akashic Records that the energy and the experience that I had then in this other timeline are working its way and transferring over into the now. So I'm picking up their perspective. I'm not forcing my third eye open. I'm simply committing myself energetically to an experience, and then I am drawing that experience back with me. So what comes from that experience? Confidence, clarity, know-how, and worthiness to use these tools as the Creator incarnate the way that they're meant to be used. I would have never thought to do a lot of the things that I can do now with my third eye before, because I didn't feel worthy. I didn't feel like I had the experience to know what to do. I was waiting for an experience to take hold of me and to dictate what was being received. So it wasn't until I dedicated myself to rituals and discipline that I started to change my perception of what the third eye is, and slowly the lenses of density and separation started to be removed. And what I was left with was an experienced, awakened third eye user who's used the third eye in countless number of lifetimes. I remembered how to do it, and it was that trust and belief in the processes that I was going through that allowed me to reclaim that gift. So the quantum jumping, I started doing that within the space of the Akashic Records, probably once or twice a week. And that effort, that pure intent, and that dedication to a process and a repetitive process in that showed the universe that I was ready for more, showed my guides that I believed in myself and I could do more and I could show them more. And on their end, they're always going to be on board with what I'm trying to do. So can you see yourself in a version of you who has complete mastery over the third eye? Step in their shoes, see through their eyes, do what they would do, play the role, make a game of it, have fun with it. Can you open your third eye that way? Absolutely. Do you need the Akashic Records involved in order to do that? Not necessarily, but it does accelerate the process significantly because of the significance of that vibrational state, and the exchange of energy is much faster. And in the Akashic Records, if you have properly accessed that space, there is no other intent than pure intent. So when it comes to opening the third eye, pure intent is everything. And your guides don't want you to sit down in a moment in time expecting your third eye to open, not knowing that you're not ready, and then give up. They want you to prove that it's something that you're willing to work for. You are accessing the toolkit of a master, which is not something that's easy to do. It is literally the hardest thing to do in the whole universe. But you as a soul accepted that challenge, and that's why you find yourself here today. Anyway, so for those of you who can't visualize at all, like, can't close your eyes and even see a color or two, it's just complete darkness. I've been working with the guides on coming up with a solution for you guys as well. A technique that can be used repetitively to practice and, work that muscle. Anyway, I hope this video has helped you. I think it is worth every bit of effort and every bit of energy spent to dedicate yourself to a routine of quantum jumping into a version of you who's got things figured out. And with the energies that we're playing around with right now and the high vibrational state that we're bouncing back and forth between, give yourself 3-6 months to a year of doing that, or don't do that and give yourself a decade or two. So you can see the power of your tent in those two timelines. It really does make an effort. It really does mean everything to show up every day, give it your all, and have no regrets. Thank you very much, you guys. Goodbye.